All right, we are back with Hilary, who last week did the 5th hour, which she said to me that I want to cancel you in person. 5th hour is abdominal work, and it's definitely usually the physically most demanding because we're not used to having people dig in our bellies. It's just sort of an odd session. But that being said, having now gone through the week with having had this occur and kind of gotten over the trauma, how are you feeling and what have you noticed this last week?
So because you're way over there, I'm going to take this down for a second.
Awesome.
So first things first, you may notice from like the other video and this video, like I went through a huge chop of my hair, and reflecting back on the energetic movement that we've been talking about, I feel like is related because I almost couldn't not chop my hair off, and that is always like for me, like every 5 years or so I get through this like energetic movement and I'm like it's gotta go. And so that happened.
Right, and it looks amazing. I'm super inspired to do it myself.
And it definitely felt like I couldn't not do it. Like
right.
It was a very strong pull. And so there's lots of stuff about like hair and women and energetic. And I think it's just also like a culmination moment of like, this shit's gotta go.
Yep. Yesterday is gone.
Yeah.
Yep. Right.
So that happened.
Releasing.
I will, on the physical plane, if you're sort of thinking about coming and doing this work, I will say that session was, and I don't want to like shy away from using the word pain and stuff, but it was very intense. And for me, it was painful. And I think just like you were saying, you're not used to like people messing with your belly in that way.
Yeah.
I've talked a lot about before having gone through 3 full pregnancies, and so that it wasn't so much about that because I've sort of used to like people on my stuff like in natural childbirth, but it was I had remembered saying to you in the session, I felt a lot of fear coming up during that session.
Yeah, very normal. Yeah,
like I'm not going to be able to get through this 1 30-second gig, of the session.
Yeah.
And so that I feel like I have a lot more recollection of sort of that in the session. There was a lot of fear, like sensations of fear coming up, but then as one does, as humans do, you can like persevere through it.
Yeah.
And then you're left with like, oh, I did that, you know? So like there's
a sense of accomplishment almost that you got through this bad moment.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think, again, the pain and the intensity and the fear sensation, I think you also, because you're the practitioner who is sort of guiding the space, I also felt like you weren't gonna like leave me in a bad place, or you weren't gonna like screw up and like not finish the thing to get to the other side. Like I was also trusting you in those moments too.
And I very much appreciate that because it is, yes.
And I think I did notice you had mentioned sort of like bowel movements would be weird or different. I did notice that, although I think I'm maybe better than most Americans in that sense. Like I am, like it wasn't as like a deep sort of detox thing as may be for other folks.
Right.
But what I have noticed too is that I have been feeling sort of like queasy. Like anytime I eat, I was kind of like, ooh. So I just think that there's, I think things are reorienting or like probably flowing more. Yeah. And then you feel this in your guts, like literal guts, like, oh, I just feel more, I notice all the food more or something.
More attuned to what you're eating. Yeah. I noticed very quickly, and I remember, and this is since being integrated, that I was very aware very quickly if what I was eating in the moment was the right thing for me to be eating in the moment. Yeah. And so my sense of intuitive eating just went skyrocketed. And so, because I'm not one who, like, I don't have a very specific diet. Like, the rest of us, I try to not be terrible, but if I want an Oreo, I eat an Oreo. Yeah. But like I would know right away if that Oreo was a good thing or a bad thing at that moment.
that feels true for sure. And also this, just kind of like a, I don't know, I don't really need that right now. Shrug feeling.
Yeah.
So that's been interesting. And then one other specific thing that I've noticed is more on the energetic plane again, or sort of the like, I think I said this last time, like, just that more clarity around, like, this is bullshit. I don't stand for it. Yeah. I'm going to say something. I'm not going to be mean, but, like, no. Right. And so that has continued as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just been still fascinating. And so I'm here for it. And now we're going to move into the next phase.
Yes. So 6 hour is, I always say, the reward for having survived the 5th hour. It's generally people's physical favorite. You'll be face down the whole time, which always feels a little cozier and safer. And we work on the back of the legs and the sacrum. So it's the first time that I actually touch your low back, which everybody has been waiting for, basically. And we have attacked your hip and pelvis from all directions except for the back direction. And so this is the final piece of horizontalizing that pelvis so the spine can stack. And it's often the most subtle physically upon completion, but it's the one that I find that unfolds the most as the week progresses and that people recognize the benefits of. So it's a really interesting one. But it's definitely the physical reward for having enjoyed the 5th hour.
This is like as close as you're going to get to like the bridal party massage.
Yeah, it's close, right. And it's still nothing like that, but it's, and it's spaces that you're more used to being touched and everything else. So awesome. All right, let's get to it. Yay!